Evet, uluslararası piyasaların en önemli oyuncusu Amerika denir. Hatta biri denir ama biz her zaman biliriz en önemlilerinden biri değil, galiba en önemlisi. Ve o yüzden bizim içerideki yatırımcılarımız da sık sık zaten artık sadece Türk hisse senetlerine değil, Amerika hisse senetlerine ilgi duymaya başladılar. Ve özellikle burada sabah da konuştuğumuz gibi sevgili ForInvest'ine yaptırdığı araştırmaları göre hani ne dedik, bugün gömülü yatırım nedir biraz bunu da öğrenmiş olduk. Burada artık Amerika'daki hisse senetleri de ilgi çekici bir enstrüman. Dolayısıyla bu ilgi çekici enstrüman üzerinden biraz örneklemlerle aslında bir panel dinleyeceğiz birazdan. Aynı zamanda kendisi tabii destek sponsorumuz DriveWealth'ten Selom Tetteh aramızda efendim. Alkışlarla sahneye davet ediyoruz kendisini.
How you doing? Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. I know it's after lunch and people are slowing down. It's great to be here. I've been in Turkey now for most of the year. I've been coming on and off probably about every month. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Fortuna, and everybody for having me here. I just want to spend the next 50 minutes talking about the rise in retail investments and the global demand for U.S. stocks. A little bit about myself. I've spent, the last 20 years doing about 3 different things. I started my career in consulting with E&Y, and then I worked with Deloitte in various industries, and then I started focusing on financial services. In 2008, after the global crisis, I went and joined Barclays and helped them integrate all of their investment banking products when they acquired Lehman Brothers. And after that, I spent about 5 years with Goldman Sachs doing a lot of strategic initiatives. Over the last 8 years, I've been working with fintech, particularly in brokerage as a service. And over the last year, I've been working with DriveWealth, who you may have heard about. DriveWealth today powers a lot of the fintechs across the world. We're present in every continent globally. We power people like Cash App, power people like Revolut in Europe, and locally we power people like Tagile, Papara, and are looking really excited to work with people like ForInvest to really provide U.S. stock trading to the Turkish market. 1 in 30 trades today goes through a DriveWealth infrastructure. We are the number 3 executing broker in the U.S. today, just behind Citadel and Virtue. And we continue to grow our presence globally as well as here in the Turkish market. The fact that we have about 25 or 30 million customers on our books gives us a good insight into what people are doing, what people want, and what they're trading. And this is part of what I want to share with you today is, what does retail investment look like, and what do retail investors, what have they done historically, and what are they doing over the last decade, and what will they be doing in the near future? If you look at this graph, retail investors really participated only about 15% back in the 1920s. Retail investment has been always there for the last 100 years. It was geared towards the ultra wealthy at that time. They were the only ones who could really invest. Going through the Great Depression, a lot of them pulled out. And then looking through the 40s and early 50s, as mutual funds became available, as government bonds became available for the funding the war, a lot more people began to participate in the retail market again. But it was still the ultra-wealthy who participated at that time. In the 60s, there was a lot of inflation or stagnation in the US market, so a few people pulled out. And then as we got into the 70s, you got 401ks coming about. You got people like Schwab coming into the market, providing discount brokerage. And really, this began to grow and allow the high net worth and middle class to begin to enter into the market. In the 80s, regulations was passed that allowed 401ks to become more part of the ecosystem where every everyday worker could really invest in the US stock market and begin to participate. And that's where you begin to see a lot of increase in the stock market. Fortunately, we had the dot-com bust, and a lot of people pulled out. And then what you kind of see over the last 2 decades is a rise and fall in demand of participation. Now, when you tie this out to what has been going on from a technology perspective, you see that in the 80s, discount brokerages were around, but this was still physical presence across different cities across the world, where you'd go and sit in an office, your wealth manager will advise you, it will take maybe 3 weeks to open an account, and then you have to call somebody to make a trade. Now, with the advent of computers, E-Trade came about and provided online trading platforms. So you see that in the late 90s, people were now able to go online and trade. It was still a cumbersome process that would take days and weeks to open the account, and then to trade, you had to go through a lot of processes to get that in place. And then, 2013 was an interesting year where you had Robinhood introduce commission-free trading. These two crazy kids decided that, they were going to disrupt the world, and they set up, this online platform that allowed everyday users to have a mobile phone and mobile trading app. And since 2013, you kind of see us growing from maybe 5 or 10 mobile apps to now we have over 100 plus mobile apps globally. In the last 4 years, interesting things happened, right? We had COVID, the world shut down, everybody was sitting at home, governments gave money to people were bored, they had phones in their hand, and they started getting online and they started trading. So in the last 4 years, we've probably seen over 100 million people enter into the retail market and begin to participate in retail trading. What I anticipate in the top corner with AI is going to continue to drive a lot of market participation. The guy from AWS, Bakar, he talked about what AI is going to do. You're going to see probably about 50% of people really relying on AI technologies to educate them about what they need to invest, and then to actually invest in the stock markets. When you think about, what do people like? What do your demographics want? You have a population that is transitioning from the baby boomers to, Gen X, Gen Z, to millennials. All of these people have different needs. But if you look at your target audience, a lot of them have very simple needs. They want simplicity in the platform. They want frictionless approach. The other thing I heard, I was paying attention to Bakar, he said, if people don't get online in 3 seconds, you lose them. 60% of people drop when they don't get access in 3 seconds. And what you need to have in your platform is something that is simple, that doesn't make it too complex for them to get on. I spoke to someone this week who talked about the fact that they had only a 10% adoption rate for people who were getting onto their platform. And that's because the platform ended up being overly complex, and you lose people from the onboarding process, through the funding process, through the trading process. Too much information is actually not good. The other thing that people want is real-time information. They want real-time information, but they want it in snippets. So you want, whether it's you see people watching TikTok shorts, no more than 10, 20 seconds, that basically educates you on what is the latest stock, what is interesting about this stock, what is happening on the market, and how can I really participate in the market. They want a diversity of products, not just stocks and ETFs. They may want to combine it with digital assets. They may want to combine it with mutual funds. They may want to combine it with fixed income. These are all things that allow somebody to get on your platform and have a diversity of asset classes that they can invest in. And the last thing they really want is they want transparency and security. They want to make sure that the platform they're getting onto is reliable. It's not breaking. It doesn't prevent them from trading. You think back in 2021 when the meme stock events happened, there were a few things that happened in the market. Like you see even Robinhood, they had to pause on trading because they didn't have enough capital to clear the trades. These are important facts that your customers and who you partner with are going to be really cognizant about, that the platform that they got on does not break, that they can actually trade, they can trade real time, they have real-time information, and things don't go wrong when they get onto the platform. A few things when I think about the Turkish market particularly, and I've spent the last year or so coming and going and meeting a lot of banks, brokers, fintechs, and trying to understand what ticks in this market. And I think it's no different from a lot of other markets. I mean, the demographics are the same. People still want a very simple, clean user app. They don't want something that is overly complex that they're going to get bogged down in. But they also want uniqueness in the partner that they deal with. So if you're on a platform that doesn't really cater to your demographics, it's going to be hard for you to continue to sustain and win your clients. The other thing they want is low cost. I mean, again, in the US, commission-free has come to stay. Even people like Fidelity and Schwab don't charge you for trading. I know in the Turkish market, we want low cost, and we want to offer that. And to offer your low cost, your partner and your own costs have to be low. And those are things that I'll talk about in a little bit, to kind of talk about how you can provide this low cost to your end customers. Education and training is important. There's a lot of information out there, but people also want to be guided in what they want to do or what they should be doing in investments. And it's important that as you build your apps, you provide the resources to your customers that would allow them to know what to get involved with. The last few things are really around regulatory and compliance, because again, people want to know that they're dealing with a reputable organization that is not breaking the rules. You look at things that happened with crypto. FTX is a classic example of people who were not following the rules, and that really caused a lot of harm in the marketplace. When you deal with your partners, you have to know that they are regulatory compliant and you can trust them from a regulation perspective, but also from an infrastructure security perspective that would allow them to provide the services to your end customers. It's important that we continue to focus on the millennials and Gen Z. As I talked about, in the last 50 years, there's been a huge accumulation of wealth in the baby boomer generation. The baby boomer generation is going to pass on that wealth, which is estimated to be over $3 trillion, to this generation of millennials. If you can capture that market now and capture them into your platform, as they inherit that, they're going to make investments on your platform and through you. So this is what you're capturing. You're not capturing what they have today. You're capturing what they're going to get in the future, which is going to happen in the next 5 to 10 years. It's important, again, when you think about your partner, these are things that you have to be concerned about. And DriveWealth, we've been in this business for the last 10 years. Everything that I've talked about, we work with you as a partner to ensure that you have the right platform. It's secure. We're SOC 1, SOC 2 compliant. We're GDPR compliant. And we've worked with our Turkish partners since 2018 to ensure that they're able to provide the right stable services to the customers here in the Turkish market. We're looking forward to forming a partnership with ForInvest that would allow us to then also provide more services to you in the coming future. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. Thank you. Tashikule. I appreciate your time.